In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to build a free YouTube course that actually sells. This is probably one of the most effective strategies that you can do on YouTube right now because it generates the most high quality leads. And this applies to any niche. So if you're in the dropshipping niche, in the lawn care business, ATM business, whatever it is, this is going to work for you. I'll be showing you the 10 steps that are involved in creating the free course format. So that way it's very easy for you to set up. Let's get started. First, let's talk about how long you should make this video. 1 hour minimum is the most recommended way to create a free course. However, it's going to be really dependent on what your niche is and how competitive it is. Let's take free Claude course as an example. There's tons of videos right now that explain how to run Claude in a full course format. What's most important is that you're going to be creating a video that outcompetes all of these videos based off of the information that you provide. And sometimes making the video length extremely long, like let's say 10 hours plus, is what's going to create the most competition between you and the competitors within the Claude niche. The reason why this video was an outlier for this channel is because it was 12 hours long versus all the other Claude videos out there, as you can tell, are about an hour to 3 hours, but this guy just came in and he was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna create a 12-hour course. So there's not really a specific length that you should go for. I just recommend going over an hour long. And some of you might be wondering, like, why should I make this video free, especially if I already have a paid course online that explains all of this? So there's two reasons. The first one is that AI has just made information really cheap. So now that Gemini exists, Claude, GPT, there's tons of information out there and no one really cares. They just want to see the demonstration in real time. And the second reason is that trust towards courses and paying for information has really gone down drastically within the last few years. And this whole trend started when Alex Hormozi just started giving away all of his information for free. And the whole goal of it is to just build up so much goodwill that people eventually purchase in the future. If you want our team to come in and do this full strategy for you, whether that's the editing, the scripting, the thumbnail process, and creating the full course for you, then click the link in the description. Now, the next thing that we need to figure out is how do we structure out the thumbnail and title for a full course? And this is really going to depend on what your niche is and how much content volume it has. As an example, there's tons of information about Claude. But if you were to go into the trucking niche, you would notice that there's a lot less topics out there that go over how do you set up a trucking business. This is one niche example where if you were to search up trucking business full course, you would not find any results, which is a great opportunity for anyone that wants to create a 1 hour plus video explaining step by step how do you set up and run a trucking business. And just to kind of show you guys some proof, when I search up trucking business free course, the only trucking free course that I see is this playlist here. But you can tell that this is more so of like a part by part series. But if you were to scroll down and find a 1 hour course video, you would not find anything like that. The only video that I saw within the trucking niche is this, the ultimate guide to trucking dispatching in 2025 full course. But this was posted 1 year ago. So what you can do is you can create the ultimate guide to trucking dispatching in 2026 and make this video better. And if you're in a very saturated niche where there's tons of topics out there explaining how to run Facebook ads, the best thing you can do is find a subject that hasn't been covered and create a full course for that subject. All you would have to do is find one subject about Facebook ads that hasn't been covered and create a 1 hour video about that topic. As long as you spot a gap in the market, like let's say there's no course about Facebook ads and Claude code, that's a video subject that you can cover within a 1 hour format. Or let's say that there's no subject on how to run Facebook ads and how to automate AI with it, then that's another subject where you can create a free course that's an hour long. But one thing that's really important is that you actually find subjects that your audience really wants to know about. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless to create these videos. And the best way to figure this out is actually speaking to your customers or your clients or even listening to your sales calls and figuring out what your customer actually needs. And when it comes to finding the best thumbnail for your full course video, just look at other adjacent niches within your industry. So these are just niches that are similar to yours and just find anything that catches your eye, but also has a high outlier score. So these are videos that have more views than how many subscribers they currently have. So like, let's take this thumbnail right here, full 6 hour drop shipping course from 0 to 10 million. Take that thumbnail, send it over to your editor, and then just have them recreate it for your own niche. It's really not that complex. And if you're a beginner channel and you haven't really released that many videos just yet, I don't recommend that you A/B test 3 thumbnails just yet. Instead, just test one thumbnail at a time, wait 72 hours, then switch out the thumbnail if you see a low click-through rate. Once you start getting 3,000, 10,000 impressions on each of your videos, that's when you can start split testing. One question I get is how long is it going to take to get results as a beginner YouTube channel using the free course format? Depending how new you are, it's probably going to take you around like 2 to 3 months to see any sort of significant results. Sometimes if you get lucky, a video will pop off and it's going to get over 1,000 views. This is one video that I launched for my medical device sales client, which is a very niche subject. There's not really that many competitors within our industry, but this took about 3 months to get any sort of significant results. But with 1,000 views, with how small our niche is, this was able to convert us 4 different sales from this full course format. As long as you structure your title and thumbnail correctly and also make sure that your audience actually wants to see that type of video, then I can guarantee you that within the next few months, that video is going to pop off, especially if your industry is very niche. The one thing you have to understand about YouTube is that sometimes it's a long-term game. Sometimes it's going to take you 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year to get results on any sort of video, so you have to be patient with these. Let's go over some recommended tools. Tela is currently the software that I'm using for this video, and it's really good for free course formats. Another good one is StreamYard, which is a little bit less expensive. Loom's also really good, but it's a little bit sloppy in my opinion. And then when you're creating presentations, just use Canva because I think it just has the cleanest UI, the cleanest designs overall. Or you could just outsource all of this. That way you don't have to do it yourself. You have a third party created for you. But when you're doing a lot of the screen recording, I'd say the cleanest one out of all these is probably Tela. The next thing I want to explain to you is how do you shoot the video and how long is this going to take? That's going to be really dependent on how much effort you put into this video. So like what kind of presentations you create, what your speaking ability is, and then other factors. On average, I'd say it usually takes about 2 to 3 days for most people to film all the modules necessary to create the full YouTube course. But if you're going to be creating a 12-hour course, that's obviously going to take you a lot more time than a person creating a 1-hour course. And for each filming session that you do, I'd say spend about like 1 to 2 hours for each session. That way you're not burning yourself out. And it's completely fine if it takes you more than 3 days. For some people, it might take a full week to do this. So it might take you a little bit of time to finish this up, but I can guarantee you that once you do finish this, you're going to get the most qualified leads possible because the information that you're providing is just actually really valuable. And when you're shooting this video, there's really 2 ways of doing it. You can either do it with a webcam, which is relatively low cost, or do this with a professional videographer or a professional camera if you have one in your studio. That way the quality is a little bit nicer. These are some examples of some creators that have created the full course. So like Jeremy Haynes, like he did it in his office with a whiteboard, and then he's just basically drawing the whole time. And then there's a professional camera in the background. This is more so of a webcam setup where it's a little bit less effort, but the presentation slides are really nice. This is also a professional camera setup that eventually transitions into slides like this. But as you can tell, he's in a very simple room. It's not over the top, and it's very simple to create. When you're creating this free course, it's going to be really important that you bring in the right materials. That way you have very clear visuals for your audience to watch. Some things I recommend you bring in is like any sort of documents that you have. So that could be SOPs, spreadsheets, video material. One really important thing to add in is testimonials. The best way to show testimonials is through screenshots, video testimonials of your clients getting wins. And one of the most important things to add in is receipts. So this includes like showing your revenue numbers, your profit numbers. That way people understand that you're actually telling the truth. This can be displayed with softwares like Stripe. If you're more so of like, let's say an online creator, then WAP would be another place. Sometimes just showing bank statements can also be enough. And it's going to be really important for you to show all these different things within the video because that's the only way that you're going to be able to build up trust with your audience. And feel free to give out some of these things for free. So include it within your description links. Don't be afraid to show that information to your audience. Now, one of the most important steps that all of you have to realize is that you have to add in call to actions throughout the whole video. Otherwise, this video is kind of worthless. So there's 2 ways of creating call to actions. The first way is either doing it throughout your video, so adding in naturally as you're speaking. I'd say that's probably the most effective way of doing it, and then having an info card slide out. And then the second way of doing it is by adding in some sort of abrupt trailer. So this could be a 15-second to 30-second trailer that pops up and then tells people to either click the link in the description or click the link in the bio. The way that Jeremy does it in this video is he has a call to action pop up, but this is a course that he recorded in the past and then he just repurposed. When you're adding in call to actions in your videos, the first most important spot is that you add in a CTA around the 6-minute mark. So this is somewhere in the beginning of your video. The next one will be somewhere in the middle. And then the last one will be at the end of your video, just kind of going over the call to action in a little bit longer format. So you can do this for like 30 seconds if needed. And also don't be afraid to add in more call to actions if you want to do so. My recommendation is that you weave them in through the video. That way they're not abrupt trailers. But there's no risk of doing so because you have to understand the psychology of the viewer. They're going to be more understanding that you add in call to actions in your video because they know that you're giving out information that's really valuable for free. Once you film the full course, now we go into the editing stage. The best way to edit these videos is through like a very minimalistic style. So this is going to show more screen recordings. It's going to show more screenshots. It's going to be showing you more demonstrating on a computer. And the way that I like to look at it is that it's a low effort but professional style of video. And when you watch this Jeremy Haynes video, you're going to notice that a lot of it is very raw format with his guests speaking. He's on a whiteboard. It's very low effort. When you look at Nick's YouTube channel, you'll notice that he does more so of like Miro boards. He shows his Claude chats. He goes over some whiteboards, and he's in the corner right here. Very simple to create, doesn't require too much editing. The only editing that you're really going to see is maybe in like the beginning sections or the transition sections of the video. Don't overcomplicate the editing process. It's very simple. Best practice in 2026 is to keep things as simple as possible because that's just how YouTube is trending now, and people like low effort content. And for anyone that has sold courses in the past and they have courses behind a paywall, one recommendation that I have is if you have a recording that really isn't getting too many sales, or you think the information is a little bit outdated, then take that information and put it up on YouTube for free. If it is a little bit outdated, what you can do is just add in a few sections into the video that kind of update the information. That way you have, like, let's say the new content plus the old content, and then you turn it into a full course. Just remember to add in call to actions when you're repurposing this video. Now that you have all the information necessary to create a free YouTube course, you also have to understand that there's other ways of attracting more leads through your YouTube channel. So check out this video where I explain the best YouTube growth strategy in 2026.